But in number one. Top 10 songs of 2023. This comes from someone who's been on radio for over 20 years, and it comes from somebody who's taken that title a couple of times before, more than once. And you know, in our generation, Kwaito days, Afropop days, house music days, etc., it wasn't as it is now. I know times change, but you can never rule out the importance of the biggest radio stations when we are getting to choose the biggest songs of the country. And as much as there can be big songs, there can be summer awards that choose a song of the year, you find that certain songs that might have been big during the year, when it comes towards the end of the year, says Pelum Soto. Early December, but I said my third week of December, feature in top 10. Why? Because of what we call radio spins, radio airplay. That's why, as an artist, as a musician, you want that radio spin. You want those radio spins. You want that radio airtime. You want the radio airplay. Yes, there's also all sorts of different conversation around it. You need a budget to get it. I don't know how things are now. I haven't been in the music industry for quite some time. But what I can tell you, if there's a radio station, out of all the biggest radio stations in the country, if there's a radio station that plays the biggest role in helping the public choose the biggest songs, it has to be undoubtedly the biggest radio station in the country, which is Ukhozi FM. Second biggest radio station would be Umjolo FM, plays a very big role. Metro FM plays a very big role. Lisedi FM, Mutsweding FM, Mungana Lonene FM, Parafara FM, like all these different radio stations, even the small ones, community radio stations, because they add on to the radio spins and they add on to the influence of the songs getting big out there in the marketplace. That's why I say some of you guys are lucky now that you can just put out a song and just press enter and it's out there and you're like, my song is out now. You just tweet. We never used to do that. We had to get into a caravela and drive to Mpumalanga and spend the whole week in Mpumalanga, going to universities, going to shopping malls, shopping centers, community radio stations, sitting with journalists, selling an artist, making sure that we penetrate that entire Mpumalanga. Shabo Babaton Radio, Shabo Nils Sprate, Shabo Siabuswa, Shaikar, Siagandebele, Wheatbank, the entire week, she has got to Mpumalanga. And siyaz ukuthi nge-weekend yakhona, Friday night, Saturday night, sinama event eswashayo just to get our artists out. That's how we promote the artists. And then nasiphuma ngeKari sithi Limpopo. From Limpopo nasiphuma sithi Northwest. From Northwest nasiphuma sithi Northern Cape. Nasiqeda sithi Blom, Free State. Nasiqeda sithi Eastern Cape, sithi KZN, sithi Swaziland. Guys, to market an artist in our days, it was a lot of work, a lot of time, a lot of energy, and a lot of money as well. Let me mention that. And a lot of people don't know how the music industry operates now in 2024. And even fans think an artist just becomes big by themselves. No. Do you know how many people contribute into helping an artist become successful? I've just mentioned radio stations. Now, radio stations don't run themselves. You've got the program managers there. You've got the music compiler there. You've got the radio DJs there that are on-air presenters that play a big role, that are a voice to the listeners. And then you've got the big shows, your morning, your afternoon show, your afternoon drive. And then another province, it's the same thing with its particular radio stations as well. That's what you must go do. Now imagine if I were to go drive to Mpumalanga and go promote my new artist in Mpumalanga. Number one, the petrol money to get to Mpumalanga. Number two, when I'm going there, it's not just me and the artist if I'm the manager. What about the artist goes on stage with a backing vocalist or with a DJ? Maybe you've got a videographer because now it's 2024. You've got somebody has to take those snaps. You gotta book a hotel room. You gotta invite the journalists into maybe some restaurant, so you have to feed the journalists. You have to buy them drinks, so they must come and listen to who this artist is, listen to the artist's music. You have to sell this artist to these people, so you have to spend. So it's not only the petrol money, it's not only the hotel rooms for that entire week, It's also the drinks money for these guys that you have to sell this artist to. And you must do that individually to every province. So the Mpumalanga budget on its own, you had to spend maybe like 50K in Mpumalanga. And now, Melwen's writing times 9 provinces. Or you can say times 10. Because Ukhozi, we are Hluganisi Gauteng. I'm going to show you Ukhozi side, which has got its own townships with its own community radio stations. And then you've got the Tshwane side, where you have to go to Abo Rankuwa, you have to go hit Abo Soshanguva, Abo Mama Babupane, Abo Tshwane Stereo, Tshwane Radio. Guys, it's a lot of work to put an artist out there. And artists also, they themselves forget when they're up there that a record company puts in all of that work. Now, with all of that being said, that's how much work it takes to promote an artist or to promote a song to become a big song. You can't just have a big song in your mind in the studio with your friends and your record label and you guys are excited what you've got a hit. No, it's not a hit in the studio. A hit is only a hit after it leaves the studio. Only then the work starts. So usually we've got a tendency of when I've got a dope song in the studio and my record company helps me market the song, becomes a big song, I forget all of this work that was put in by all of these people and I think I'm the talent, I'm DJ Sbu, I'm the one that made the song become big. No, it's a collective teamwork that makes the song happen. So let's look at the 10 biggest songs in the country currently that are going to break us into the new year. We are not saying there were not other songs that were not big this year. We are saying the songs that are trending now, the songs that are crying in clubs now, the songs that are crying in almost every radio station in the country now, the songs esiyonqamula ngazo unyaga now. Yes, it's been very controversial. It's trended over the years, and there's been some songs that just vumbuka from anywhere, like Abo Phantom or like Abo DJ Hlo, that just vumbuka from nowhere. But when I look at this top 10 list, which is inspired by obviously the biggest radio station being Ukhozi FM and the listeners having to vote here, some of the songs that are actually imagined, I'm not seeing them on this list. For instance, what do you call a black man in America? I'm not seeing him nigga here. I'm not seeing, what are other songs that were big this year? I mean, the Aymos song, the Aymos and Bassi song, what is it?
Izenzo.
Is it Izenzo?
Yeah, it's Izenzo.
Abo, there's a lot of songs that were big this year that I'm not seeing on this top 10 list. But anyway, let's start. DJ Cotton, Big Nas, Mshai, and Mr. Tyla. Hello. Mtandeni SK, featuring Lwa Ndlunkulu, Paris. Dlala Thukzin, okay, obviously we all expected this one. This is big. I think a lot of people are gravitating towards. I think this is what's going to take it this year. What do you think? I think iPlan is gonna take it this year.
Debatable, nah, but then like just based on like how big the song is, I can agree with you. But a lot of people are gonna be wanting that Tyla song because of the influence it made like globally. You know what I mean? It's that track called "Water" by Tyla. But then at the same time, because it's the Ukhozi audience that gets to quote unquote decide, they might not put her on. But then in terms of the impact, global impact, I could give it to Tyla.
Tyla, né?
Yeah, Water. Yes,
I agree, because I'm not seeing Water on this list as well.
Yeah.
And it also questions that, like, doesn't Ukhozi, I'm sure they have playlisted Tyla, but I'm wondering, like, why doesn't it make the top 10 list? It's not on this list.
I think personally, the way I would see it from
closer to the mic, sorry.
I think personally, the way I would see it from a compiler's perspective is that, as dope as that song is, it doesn't necessarily speak to the KZN demographic. You know what I mean? Because now Ukhozi Babosi Zulu Dawa one.
Yeah, I understand. Where you're coming from.
It's debatable, but like I'm saying,
yeah.
So it's a dope song, but it doesn't speak to our KZN peoples.
But I like the fact that this top 10 list is full of a lot of new artists.
Yeah.
That makes me happy. But I also like seeing the likes of Abu Big now still being consistent after so many years. But I have to give it to Dlala Thukzin, Zaba and Sykes. Big up to you guys. Iplani, you hear it everywhere, man.
Yeah.
For me, that's my festive season song. That's my song. And that's my choice. What is your choice, guys? Write it on the comment section. All right, let's move on. Number 4 on the list, yes, Ukhozi FM, of the songs that are being voted for candidates breaking us into the 2024 brand new year. Mlu Vez Slu Keke Maketa Tembalam. You've got number 5 Khuzani no Luve Umjolo low. And then obviously you've got the usual suspects, Melo and Sleazy.
Yes, sir.
Java, the DJ. You've got Tito M, T-Mess and Express, Imnandi Lento. You've got Andy Legamachola with Konke. You've got Hurricane. Is it Hurricane or Harry?
No, I'm talking about yeah.
Master KG and DJ Latimi, Dubula. You've got Dumim Kokstad, who's been consistent in the game for all these years. And Gimbo Nanga. You've got Chaos. That's track number 10, Ufunani.
Yeah.
Jeez, I would have never compiled this list if I were to be asked to just write down the top 10 songs. I definitely would have put in Water by Tyla in there. I definitely would have put in Izenzo by Aymos and Basi in there. I definitely would have put on Imnike in there. I definitely would have put on...
Yeah.
Scoot is nice.
Scoot is nice.
I'm not seeing it on this list.
And then what about Kabza the Small and Umtunzi with a track called
Kabza the Small
Imitandazo? Because
exactly.
now the homies have been putting in the work as well. You know what I mean? So first of all, who gets to decide these lists?
It's interesting. Yes, I can see this top 10, but this is a Ukhozi FM top 10, guys. Maybe you can also throw in some of your songs that you think deserve or would have deserved to have been on this top 10 Ukhozi FM. And maybe when we broaden the list, I'm still on Ukhozi, but now this is a top 20 list. Yes, it's not a top 10 list. Let me now go to their weekend top 20. When they play their top, let me see if we enlarge it onto their top 20, if some of these songs that we thought were the usual suspects, if they would have featured there.
Yeah, well, there's Kamumpela with Dali as well.
Yeah, there definitely is Tyla, Water.
Yeah.
There is also DJ Stoki, Ukhozi. There's Kelvin Momo, Utando. There's DJ Hlo, Ntando Yamahlubi, Ubuhle Bakho, the Q Twins, Kosomba. Then obviously they've got the international songs, Abu Nicki Minaj, Doja Cat. They've got Abu Beyonce with My House, Jack Harlow. So let me not talk about the international guys. Yani Mbambeni, that's also in the top 20. There's also Sam Deep, Iskupu. There's Kamumpila Dali. There's that's Wanitwa Mosia Kineilwe and comes at the smaller Mtunzi Mitandas, as you were saying. I'm very shocked with this top 10 list. Yes, Ukhozi.
And I'm not hearing any hip hop tracks there that are listed.
Very
no
important
hip-hop
concern.
tracks there, like.
But let me tell you what makes me happy this year. What makes me and I'm also not hearing in Nambagarading. Yaga Motino, no DJ Kent. I'm not seeing, but what makes me happy as a house head, that we had a couple of house tunes making rounds this year. We've had that Moti and DJ Kent song that was big. It's still big even now. It's been blazing all over the charts. Every gig that you go to, when they play that song, goes crazy. Obviously, iPlan. I mean, I like the fact that it's a house song. So I'm biased more towards house as much as I love my piano.
Exactly. So now, which goes back to what ADB asked. So like, is South Africa killing hip hop?
South Africa, we're not killing hip hop, but I think there needs to be more work. I mean, how many hip hop songs were released here this year that were big?
Yo, like I could say that personally, we did the most work this year.
You think so?
Yeah.
Okay, give me 5 hits that were dropped in hip hop this year.
I'm not talking hits. I'm talking like bodies of work.
No, there's bodies of work in every genre, bro.
Okay.
People put in work.
Yeah.
I mean, imagine. I'm a piano songs came out this. Let's talk about top 5 big hits as a hip hop this year. Mzansi.
Yeah. Now
018.
Yeah, 018, which is Casper and Matlera. You could say AKA with Company.
Definitely Company,
you could say same thing with AKA Nasty C and AKA as well, Lemons and Lemonade. Big Zulu was.
I didn't see Java and Big Zulu on this list
also as well. Now, even though
I didn't see them.
Even though there wasn't like a hardcore hip hop project, but then also like where are they on the list as well, and the impact. What you got? Bro?
I personally think that the South African people like in the music space, they are tired of like the hip hop. Now they found something that relates with them on a musical level, because now hip hop was something that was adopted from outside, but then now there's something that they have. But then like now we're looking at the influence it has. It's from abroad, you understand? So that's what I'm talking with now. as much as hip hop might also have an influence within the piano space, but then now the people are the ones who don't pay attention. It's not of I don't know if I should say the curators or the people who choose the playlist, but then now it's on the what's trending type of vibe on my side. That's what I think.
Oh, so you basically saying that hip hop is no longer pop. It's no longer popular music.
Yeah. From our generation, like looking at my generation, you know, at 2000 now, hip hop is not the thing.
But maybe also let me add here and say, if you're coming with that argument, somebody can say the same thing about Tyla and say music is R&B. It more appeals to the Americans. Then yeah, but it's a big song. Once that song blazes at any party, women go crazy especially.
But then it's a vibey song, so now it's all about the melody and all that, isn't it? Because now what catches us besides the song is the vibe that it brings in. Because now on a hip hop level, it's just bouncing your head, but then now piano is coming in with the new stance and all that. Of course, hip hop does have that, but then now what the sound is pushing now is more melody than hip hop, how it was back in the days type of vibe. So that's what I personally think.
It's interesting with the music, man, because you can't rule out just one thing. It's many different factors. That's the thing with this music thing. That's why I love soccer lovers in South Africa and music lovers in South Africa, and that's why it's always a big debate around this time which song Nqamula's the year. And that's why when songs like Abofan Dame Bavele Bafumbuga and Nqamula's the year, it's like, but then come on, type of thing.
But I mean, just not to deviate too much from the topic, I think we as South African music lovers, we gotta learn to appreciate a certain genre without feeling like we're suppressing the other genre, you know, like Amapiano.
Show him on camera, it's cool. Sure.
I mean, like you look at Amapiano, they're big now, and you feel like hip hop is being suppressed, and that's not the case. We gotta learn as South African, and this goes back to the music compilers. It goes back to the DJs in clubs. It goes back to us as well as music fans that we don't, because now people have this argument, Gqom is dead. You know what I mean? And I don't think that's...
Gqom is very much alive.
But, I mean, there was a time where people felt it was dead.
Okay, I get you.
I don't think we should have that kind of feeling, you know what I mean?
I guess maybe it's not as mainstream as it was at some point.
Yeah. Yes. And that's also got to do a lot with our music compilers and radio stations, where if piano is the it thing, the rotation of piano now is all of a sudden crazy.
Oh, I get you.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
Then they forget everything else.
Yes, like everything else is just dead, you know what I mean? And it's possible. We have so many radio stations, we have so many platforms to embrace all our music. I mean, you look at the Rugby World Cup when the Springboks on.
Yeah.
Who was blazing Lapa Numando? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It was like the track is new. It was like the song was just released.
And those songs are old, right? Yeah. They're like more than 10 years old. Actually, more than 20 years old. Exactly. Yeah. And they're still killing it even now.
Yeah.
But I like what you're saying. It goes down to a few individuals that get to decide or dictate for the rest of the masses.
Sure.
And that's sort of a bit unfair, right?
Yeah, it is. It is, because it basically, it as I said, that's why artists go broke. That's why artists don't get bookings anymore. You know what I mean? Because all of a sudden, these songs are not on rotation. You know what I mean? Because now all of a sudden, there is a certain artist who's so big that they'll rather play him 4 times in one day in one radio station. You know what I mean? And for me, I'm not saying it's wrong, but we've got so much talent, guys. So much. Literally, you can play an artist every hour in this country for the next year.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
It's wrong, bro. Then it means it's wrong.
Yeah.
Come to the mic. Let's hear you.
So it means what you're saying then it's wrong then, bro, for music compilers to actually do what they be doing with regards to choosing a specific genre to carry a station, so to speak. And it also just goes back to what we were saying earlier on. Shoguti Vele, if Amapiano's the new pop, then it means that everything else got to drop, so to speak. So Amapiano's the new pop, and people are under the notion or the impression that, because in my culture they say it's a hip hop is dead, and no, it's just that it's not the new popular. It's no longer the popular thing, so to speak. So that's what I feel.
So here's another interesting twist on these events. Now I was talking about an Ukhozi FM list top 10, right?
Yeah.
That is being voted for. Candidates for nqamuling us into the new year, breaking us into 2024. And then I got into their top 20 to include more songs. Now let's go to the official South African